Hello, everybody, and
Hi.
welcome to class. Today's essential questions are: will I still have a job next year? If AI feels like a real friend, does that count? And how much longer until we can Wally?
Wally.
Let's introduce today's teachers. I'm Mr. Linton. When I first got my real, grown-up apartment, I did not switch the utilities over to my name.
Whose name were they in?
I don't know.
So someone else was paying your utilities?
The manager of the housing complex contacted us after a couple of months and was like, "Hey, you never did this."
How did it take them a couple months to notice?
I don't know, but they did not charge us.
Oh, well, that was
So I
nice
basically,
of them.
so look, it was a dumb thing, but it saved me a couple $100. So
Okay. If it's stupid, but it works, is it stupid? I'm Mr. Walter, and recently I was going back to my office for my last class. I set my my mug, thermos, whatever you want to call it, of water, because I only ever drink water at school, open on my desk. And I opened my laptop in front of it, completely forgot it was there, and later on adjusted my screen and heard a little thud. My mug had fallen over and washed all of its contents into all of the physics tests that I had to grade.
are the students going to be happy about that or upset?
I mean, thankfully, most of them worked in pencil. But the ones that worked in pen got a little hard to read.
I'm Mr. Rabbers, and when I was in college, during the semester when I was doing clinical or practice teaching it was once a week.
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, yeah.
That was clinical.
I think this was clinical. I called in sick. I called in sick so I could go home early for, I think it was either Thanksgiving break or one of the other breaks that we had. Not my proudest moment, but I felt like I wanted to get home at a reasonable time.
Despite all that, we are still the smartest guys in the classroom. Welcome to class, everyone.
Wait, is that from Top Gun?
Yeah. All right, everyone. We're here today doing our second episode on AI. The first one took kind of a big picture look at the implications of AI for education, art, and society. Since then, AI has been integrated into just about everything.
Whether you want it to or not.
Yeah, this is a much needed follow-up.
So it's safe to say there's more to talk about. I thought I'd start by just asking everyone, how you feeling about AI right now?
A little bit more like it's everywhere now, and I don't need it to be everywhere now, but I'm comfortable enough with it that it's fine. Like it's just becoming part of the everyday. Like you have a question? Okay, am I going to Google it or am I going to use the AI to get the summary?
Because Google's just going to give you an AI summary.
And
anyway.
and there is a way you can type in a little command into Google to not do AI.
Yeah.
You can do like -AI or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's an extra step.
Why do extra steps?
The default is just going to be to AI. And oftentimes I'll have a question that requires some follow-up. So I kind of enjoy the AI mode. And these are things like I don't need the chat saved. So, and I'm just talking specifically about Google here, usually on the phone, but this also works on desktops and Chromebooks as well. Just a quick back and forth to find out some information. Nothing, this is just for my own curiosity's sake, is usually enough. Otherwise, if it's something I want a little bit more information, I'm trying to force myself to go to the Wikipedia page or try to find a source to try to get myself not to be as reliant on AI as I might otherwise become.
I feel like the Google integration has been a net positive, but not for me. I'd like to go to the site. I think it's helped students because they're bad at Googling.
Yeah.
They don't know how to search, and so the AI
The
helps
AI
them.
overview links what it references,
does,
right?
it does.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
I'm glad it does that now. I don't think it did when it started.
I'd rather just, I don't trust it still, so I'd rather just go to the site itself. But do I want to do that extra step of minus AI or whatever the code is? Probably not.
And as for other feelings, like every time you see a picture that's very niche in like a presentation, either student or other teacher, in any public setting, you're always thinking, who or what made that? Is it AI generated image or not? And
Some sort of clip art.
some sort of yeah, and that's always running in the back of my mind now is what is real out there now.
Yeah, and I think we're probably going to get into this into like the ethics of AI and stuff like that. But if there's one thing I could change, it would be that social media wouldn't just be flooded with this stuff. But I understand people are just trying to generate clicks, so there's all these AI generated stories and AI generated images that are just there simply for clicks, and I hate that.
Yeah. I think when we ended last episode, we were optimistic, maybe cautiously optimistic.
Are we?
I'm not optimistic
I'm not
anymore.
feeling super
You're
optimistic.
a doomer.
No, but I will say, best AI experience I had recently. I had students at the end of the semester just do like a fun. It's called like a Google Slide Roulette or something, where I had each of them work in groups to create a Google Slide presentation on a historical topic of their choosing. It had to be a real one, real information, but then somebody else had to present the presentation blind without having seen it before, just for funsies. And one of the groups used AI to put me in every historical photo that they had in their presentation, and that was fun.
That was fun.
A clever, retroactively approved use of AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have not had any good experiences with AI recently. I
You haven't
do a
used
lot
it, like it hasn't been helpful with your coding at all.
Right. I do programming. For those of you that don't know, I make video games, and I use an engine which is old enough that the documentation was never great, but now they've taken the documentation offline, and if you try and look up information for it, oftentimes you'll find stuff that pertains to the next iteration of the engine, which is not necessarily the same in either what function you use or what syntax you use for the old version of the engine, which is what I use. So I attempted to use AI, because you can tell it what version you're working in and stuff like that, to ask it some simple questions. And anytime it generates code, it will use the wrong syntax. It can write code. I think some languages it's better than others, but it also just loses track of what language it's writing in a lot of the time, I think. And that causes a lot of problems.
Are you using Gemini or ChatGPT or something else?
I was using GPT for that. I guess I should probably attempt to use something else.
Another positive for me has been using now it's kind of native in Google Classroom. It's a Notebook LM by Google. And this has been great for just making quick review things for my classes. I teach science classes, physical science, biology, and chemistry. And I can throw in worksheets, presentations, PDFs. I could throw in any number of things into it, and it can generate a mind map, flashcards, a little 10 to 15 multiple choice quiz that I'll just use it like live with my class. And then sometimes it's kind of funny, like, the AI did a really good job with this question. Like, you can see how it's trying to trick you here. Or in other words, it's like, it's trying to do something here, and this is not really all that important. Or it's like really emphasizing something that it's not going to be something that we're going to review. So It's still me in the loop, but it's a nice time saver. It's a nice
It's like having
resource.
an aid.
Yeah, a nice resource generator. Yeah.
Yeah.
I primarily use ChatGPT, and one of the features that has equally weirded me out, and I also appreciate, is that it learns you. So when I use prompts on there now, it will suggest things or ways to write things that match my style. So it'll say like, "Hey, if I'm trying to generate like I need a review activity for this thing, they're like, hey, do you want us to incorporate some theatrical elements because you're a theater guy? You know, like,
Yeah.
yes, actually, I think that'd be fun. I don't necessarily use them,
Right.
but I'm like, okay, so you're figuring out who I am, what my voice is, and trying to.
I find the tone that ChatGPT writes in infinitely grating to my soul.
Like it's overly happy.
Hey, bro, let's figure this out.
You know, you can change that.
Yeah, you probably can.
I'm gonna make a Star Trek reference. I think it's been a while. I just when
I think it's been long enough since I made the last one.
I just want the computer from
Computer,
Star Trek.
tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah, I just want that. I just want that type of computer AI where it is basically emotionless. Like it does not emote at all, but it has all this information, and it can. Like I'd argue that our AI has advanced beyond that type of computer because of how personalized it is and how it can imitate different temperaments of people.
I hate it.
Yeah, but that's like if there was a default, I would just want the emotionless. Like
I think you could do that.
I probably would look into setting it up like that then.
I use Opera, which has you can just pull out a side panel to access it. And I don't think you can edit it on there. I would probably have to log into the main site and edit from there. So I haven't attempted, but
A couple months ago when I logged in, it actually
It's
asked me
terrible.
that. It said, hey, which of these personalities would you like me to
Yeah.
have? I stayed with the default because I was used to it. But there were some options. I did not want the super affirming one because that was also an option. It could have been even more affirming than
hi,
it
honey,
already
I know
was.
you're trying to do this, but we should try this maybe.
Hey, we already kind of transitioned to this. But the next question I kind of wanted to explore was new developments in AI that are intriguing to us
Well,
for good or bad reasons.
since we made the last episode, Sora has come out, which is a video AI model for those of you who don't follow this sort of thing. And it can generate realistic videos, and it can generate videos with a consistent model, and that's the impressive thing to me. So there's a YouTube channel now which is generating. They still have people writing the stories and everything, but they're generating short films in AI and putting them together into a short, taking the different scenes and composing them. And if they have a main character, one of the problems with previous iterations is you can't get a consistent face for all of these different things. Sora can do that now. You can have a consistent person in that role in whatever situation. So it is getting better, clearly. We'll see what happens next. AI's gotten much better at writing. There was an author recently who did an informal survey on his website where he had different famous authors write a paragraph about a prompt, and then he put the same prompt into some AI models and then had people try and figure out what was an actual author and what was AI, and not even authors can tell the difference. Brandon Sanderson talked about this in a keynote he had recently. He couldn't tell the difference. So for short form, it's gotten much better. AI is still not good at long form. That's probably the next hurdle they're going to try and tackle.
Some things that I've heard of that are exciting would be things like protein folding and AI's ability to do this research where before it took researchers several years or several months to try to grow protein crystals and then use X-ray crystallography to discover their structure. You can have AI models trained on the basic physics and chemistry of how proteins fold and how the magnetic fields pull them together and how they could fold up and then how that can interact with human or other physiology. And it can do that within days as opposed to months or years. So that opens up a whole ton of treatment options, different niche little
Potentially.
medications, could hopefully reduce costs as well.
Yeah. Because even after you know the structure, you still have to be able to synthesize it.
Right.
So that's the next hurdle.
Yeah.
But it is helping with discovering what you need, maybe could synthesize to help.
Adjacent to that is cancer screening, just uploading MRIs or X-rays or CT scans and having large language models trained on identifying tumors or other masses and give a diagnosis and like a second opinion. And some of the data coming out from there is showing that they are beating most of the board certified radiologists like 20-30% of the time, I think, to the point where it's like, okay, this should really just be the standard now, because now you're almost more is going to get through, or more human mistakes are going to be made than false positives or false negatives by an AI model. And then, final thing I was thinking of with this is autonomous driving. Some of the data has come out with, and we may have mentioned this in a previous episode, that autonomous driving has been shown to really reduce traffic-related deaths and injuries to the point where, again, if this were a clinical trial of testing a drug between a experimental group where they were receiving the drug and the placebo group where they were receiving a fake drug, if we saw this huge increase in the reduction of deaths or fatalities, it would become unethical to continue the trial. It's good enough. We need to push this out to the whole populace.
I do think it's fair to say, though, that none of those experiments have taken place in climates like ours.
The Midwest, you mean? Yeah. I've seen some videos in China of some autonomous driving vehicles having some interesting problems with
snow.
Snow or other just, running the not super common things, but also things in traffic that one would encounter, maybe once a year or once every couple of years, that you just need to be prepared for, that
Edge cases.
its programming was struggling with.
Have you seen anything in terms of weather models? Because I was expecting AI to affect weather prediction.
Yes. So at least from the National Weather Service, they are starting to incorporate machine learning and AI into their forecasting models. We've got the HRRR, and there's another one that starts with an R for like really precise, but it's only like 48 hours out. And then we've got the GFS, Global Forecasting System, and that runs 2 weeks out, but after 5-7 days, the accuracy really goes down. But they are starting to incorporate those models more and making them publicly available, I think, soon. They might just be beta testing them right now, but yeah, it's definitely in the works or soon to be available.
All right, guys. So, how about AI companions? Any new developments in the field of bow, 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 bow?
No. Yes. It's making it more uncomfy. The one video that I saw was from the Tech Expo I think it was back in December or January, that has a little, I don't know if it's like a Pepper's Ghost or some other hologram technology. That's not too out there, but it's looks like a 3D avatar, and it's AI driven. So it just sits on your desk. It's maybe 5-6 inches in height, and it is meant just to be a holographic AI companion that sits there, talks to you, can change its clothing.
I don't like that for some reason.
It changes its clothing. It can help you with reminders throughout the day. It can just talk to you like a conversation.
Yeah. I was not super impressed by the eloquence by which it spoke. It was very like
That was great.
like very rude. It was very rudimentary, like early ChatGPT Gemini in its model. Like I don't know what model they're using or if they're using their own proprietary thing.
Probably.
But the advertisement did not impress me with how it spoke.
Is that from Razer?
Yes, it's like the
Yeah.
little triangle.
The triangle of snakes?
Yeah.
Razer.
And it was definitely aimed at the gamer community. Mm-hmm. Or the VTuber.
Hey gamers, are you lonely in your mom's basement? Now you can have a robot to keep you company.
Yeah. Is there any type of therapy? Is there any type of psychology or psychologist that could use this?
I talked to my sister-in-law is a counselor, a social worker, and we talked about this. I talked about this with her, and her takeaway was if you've established some routines with your counselor, some like here's some stuff like if you find yourself in a crisis, here's the routine you should go through to help de-escalate that. If you could have an AI that would walk you through and coach you through that thing that was already established and almost prescribed by a human professional, then maybe. But she also says all the studies show that one of the greatest predictors of success in counseling is the relationship that human relationship between counselor and client. And I don't know that machine learning can fully ever achieve that.
I don't think we want it to achieve that.
Well, I don't.
Human connection is important. Replacing that with something is never good.
Yeah, I don't want to read more stories about AI coaching somebody how to do terrible things.
Yeah.
It's a hollow replacement for the real thing. It's like eating pop chips or
It's
junk food. It's like
Yeah.
social junk food. You're gonna get a really quick burst of the endorphins or the neurotransmitters you get. Maybe even you may get some oxytocin, depending on how you've programmed this thing. But it's going to be hollow. I don't think it's going to either last or something's going to keep having to ramp up to maintain that type of connection.
This is I think, a good transition to the final topic for today, which is kind of the ethics of AI. I kind of broke it into two categories. So AI and art is the first one. The second one is kind of like AI and privacy. Mr. Walter, I believe you have some thoughts on AI and art.
I do, although not all of them are on the ethics of it. There's a lot to be said about AI and art. The keynote that I watched in preparation from this from Mr. Sanderson was specifically about that and him trying to grapple with why he rebels so strongly against it. And I found that I actually disagreed with most of what he said, surprisingly. Even though I too rebel against AI art, I think it is horribly unethical that they've scraped the entire internet for every image ever made by a human. And now that they've made enough money off of it, no fine will ever be able to take that away from them. They'll still be able to function perfectly fine. But art specifically is a very interesting subject because it gets down to what is art and can an AI make art and things like that. Sanderson brought up a couple of things which I thought were worth mentioning. The first being Roger Ebert and his wildly controversial statement that video games can never be art.
When did he make that statement?
I don't remember when he made that statement, but I find myself, as someone who's made video games for over a decade, agreeing with him, actually.
In what
In that
way?
his statement was not necessarily they can never be art. His statement is video games can contain art, but they themselves are a vehicle for conveying it. If they want to convey art, they are primarily a competition, either against you and a computer or you against someone else.
So if I may to expound on this, the story contained within like the campaign of a video game
Right.
would be considered art, but the actual playing of it, it's you versus the computer.
Correct.
That is
And this is where Sanderson actually disagrees, and this is why he says that AI art can't be art, because he says that the thing that makes something artful is the making of it. And I could not disagree more, actually. The creation, the journey has no impact on whether or not it's art. I'm sorry, Mr. Sanderson. No one cares what you went through to write the book. They care how good the book is when they read it. Especially with physical media, the performance that gets you to the final product does not make it art. There's the famous case of the painter having dancers covered in blue paint run across a canvas. The canvas is now entirely blue. You could not tell that that is how it is painted if you looked at it. If you look at it, it's just a big blue canvas. This is being sold as art because of what went in to make it. No. The paintbrush is not the art. The thing that made the art is not the art. The final product is the art, and a blue canvas is not art. Okay? I think the problem is not that AI does not go through an artistic process. The problem is that as we have evolved in our standing on art, we have made the process the end goal. Art schools used to have you study figures and new drawings and sculptures and stuff like that as a means to be able to compose large paintings for diplomats or kings or anything like that, where you have a famous scene and there are people involved and you have to be able to do all the proportion and the posing and everything like that. Opera houses aren't buying paintings anymore. And in order to stay in business, art has pivoted to make the process the purpose. And it has diluted the end goal to the point that, here's the real problem, we have put so little emphasis on the end goal that now machines can match it. And you might be able to say as an artist, hey, I can do better than that. I know I, as an artist, can do better than what a lot of AI is putting out. And I know my family members, I have a brother in graphic design, does infinitely better art and logos than someone who's generating a logo on ChatGPT. Here's the problem, though. Consumers are not looking for the highest price for the best product anymore. They are looking for the lowest price that will give you good enough. And that is what AI is checking all of the boxes for right now. So the problem with AI art is that we have lowered our standards enough that it is getting the job done, and it will wipe out all of the meaningful artists.
Pivoting slightly, although it is an art form, music as a part of art. I was listening to, he's a YouTube music guy. He'll break down songs, play them on the piano, and explain the chord structure and the harmonies and what's going on. He had a little bit of an essay on AI in music and talking about how in some ways AI is kind of doing what humans do with music. You talked about going to art school. If you learn music theory, you learn all the rules of music theory to see how they are applied to give you the different flavors of like what different chords and what different scales give you what different feelings. And so you can use all those rules, and then you kind of know how you break the rules to give you the feelings or to kind of give you the shock that you want or the impact that you want your music to
Right.
have. And the AI does something similar. He was at a restaurant with his wife, and he heard something just playing on over the speakers at the restaurant. He's like, I don't recognize this song. And he's like a jazz pianist, so he has a pretty like deep vocabulary of even just like not very well known
Right,
esoteric
yeah.
jazz pieces. And he pulls out his phone, puts up Shazam. You remember that app just to listen, and it didn't recognize the song. Like, oh, it's an AI generated song.
Yeah.
But does anyone, I think one of his questions was, does anyone else care? I don't know if this speaks to your point as well. Does anyone else care in the restaurant that this is AI music? Other than him, who has an ear for it? Probably not.
The standards are low enough.
Yeah, and I think that's the common theme. And what I was thinking about during both of yours is, I think what makes art is the artist. That it's some kind of representation of them, and then their humanity. I mean, it's part of why I rebel against most mainstream music. Is it just feels inauthentic and manufactured for clicks, views, listens, and is watered down enough that it doesn't say anything meaningful or contribute anything meaningful to the human experience. So I rebel against it because I'm like, it just sounds like everything else. But that's what AI does, is it's generating things that sound just like everything else. But if that's what people want,
Then that is what people are going to get.
yep.
And I was thinking about that too when you were talking about the definition of art, that the AI can't tell us a story about how it came up, at least right now, it can't tell us a story about how it came up with something.
It could invent one, though.
It could invent one, yeah. And yeah, I guess it could kind of do that. But it didn't actually experience anything unless we're going on a whole different other path of like we have AI in androids and it's actually living a life, and then it's trying to make art based off of that. And then we have like a Commander Data
Yeah.
from Star Trek. Second Star Trek reference.
But do you have a problem with a robot like Data creating art versus this AI making art?
And that's interesting for me because Data is humanized. That was the whole point.
Right.
Was to push the boundary of what defines what a person is, who has rights. I mean, it was meant to kind of really make you think about, why do we extend rights to certain groups of people or certain entities, and so it was kind of made for that purpose.
Right.
But that fantasy is pushing up really close to our reality now. I mean, I probably within 30 or 40 years, we're going to see this technology is only going to get better, more human-like, and will we put that into robots to make and
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, it's going to happen.
it's going to
Yes.
happen, yeah.
So we'll see what happens when that happens. We'll have a follow-up episode, everyone.
Next
when that
year.
happens. Next year, when there's robots with AI voices doing your house chores for you.
Yeah. The sci-fi writers really had like kind of did this pretty well.
Yeah.
Asimov, Gene Roddenberry, who else? Doom.
Philip K. Dick.
Oh.
Frank Herbert.
Frank Herbert. I mean, they ended up killing all the robots.
But Larry and yeah.
What about AI and privacy?
The morals or the ethics of it.
Yeah, just where are we at with that?
As a society or personally?
It's really easy to use it to do your homework still.
I mean, yeah, from a privacy standpoint.
We had a recent professional development session where a guy talked to us about AI, and he basically said, don't put any personally identifiable information into any AI.
Correct. I fully agree with that. But now, how many people have already done that? So, and will that end up being a problem? Is it possible to have a data breach with that information, or is it all quote unquote latent enough that you can't pull meaningful information from that unless there's some wall you can get it to drop down and then just prompt it, hey, tell me all the personal information you've gotten. I don't know, but
That's a good question. I don't know if it's stored in any set place.
I am innately distrustful of any large company owning my information, especially one that has proven itself to be as unethical as these companies have shown themselves to be.
Shh, they're listening.
I know they are.
This episode brought to you by our AI overlords.
My wife continually tells our boys, make sure you say please and thank you to Google so that when they take over, they may treat us justly and fairly.
When?
That doesn't say when.
When they take over?
Yeah, I guess if when.
No, they've taken over, is my point.
It already happened.
It already happens.
What would you not trust AI to do?
My taxes?
See, that's something I think it would be good at. I don't know if I would trust it to do all of my correcting. I'd love it to.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it to do anything that I expect to be done right.
I've given
For
it a,
things that it's good enough.
yeah.
I'm
I've
happy
given
to
it a
use
rubric and then given it student work, and it's usually a pretty harsh grader.
I would agree.
Harsher than me. And I just did it, I think, for 1 or 2 assignments when it first came out. So I haven't re-experimented with that. But
I wonder if you could tell it to give a little bit of leniency or something.
probably can.
But then what's the point of using a machine?
Yeah, there's headlines last semester with professors using AI to grade papers or do something in class, and then students wanting their money back or something because
Yeah.
they didn't feel like it was authentic.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, there are certain professors who will give assignments a 0 if the AI detector gives it more than like a 30%.
Oh, yikes!
So then students who are doing legitimate work are failing classes.
Just because they're really good at writing and
Because-
their style is very close to whatever the AI uses.
Yeah.
And I think the studies have shown people who are learning English as a second language tend to get hit with that more often than natural English speakers.
Because they have a better grasp of English than we do.
They're following the rules a little more
they have
closely.
less of a
I-
natural voice. That's
I knew a transfer student when I was in high school, and I told him I think you're really good at English, and he said, "No, I'm still just a journeyman." And I said, "Okay." I was like, I think my point has been proven.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I said that to my students, how many of them would know what that even meant?
None of them
Very
would know
few
what that
would
meant.
know what that- Is that a matter of knowing English well or knowing obscure English?
I wouldn't trust AI to, at least for my job, to like write a full lesson plan and me just teach it verbatim. I've had it do projects or assignments, but I still have to check it over.
Yeah, I find that it's not good at assessing how long things are going to take.
Oh yeah, like way too much time.
I think it actually overplans. Like because I'll say, hey, I got a 40-minute class period. I want to do this. What can I do? And it will create these complicated lessons that would take 2 or 3 days, I think.
Gotcha.
Which then again, that's great because if we're using it as idea generation, which is how I use it there, I might pick one of the things that it said, okay, oh wow, that's a good idea, but then I tweak it to make it actually relatable to my students.
I have found that it is surprisingly good at using physics equations.
The math has gotten a lot better.
So if students are in my physics class and I don't have extra problems for them to practice, bless you, I'll occasionally tell them, tell ChatGPT or something to generate questions based on this, and ask it to solve them for you, and it'll use the equations correctly and it will apply them well. So I'll sometimes give them a prompt that they can use to study.
Yeah. Going off of that, I had it generate an answer key for a worksheet because I had lost mine that I had made some time ago. And for one question, is like, the answer was right. It did it a different process than what I'd normally done. So I asked it to redo it, recheck it using my process, and it was happy enough to do that. And it proved that you could do it both ways, and it got it correct. One thing to watch out for, at least from what I've been seeing, is as OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, hemorrhages money, and as Google just does what Google does, looks. I think at least both of those large language models will be either, I think in Google's case, like nudging you toward buying certain things if it makes sense. And I think there's been discussion about OpenAI just having outright ads in, like tacked onto the responses or baked into the responses. So just keep an eye out for that these,
as monetization becomes a problem, it will start to affect the experience, and we'll see some changes in that regard.
they're going to look for ways to make revenue off of these interactions with the AI. So you might be being sold to.
Yeah, because guess what? AI wasn't a gold mine. It's just not useful for a lot of things.
Well, it's useful. It's just
useful in the medical field.
It just doesn't. Like the
nobody
interaction
else
is, if
needs
it's
it.
free, if you're getting it as a free service, there's no other way to make money for it. You can make if you made people pay for it, but then that's a huge paywall that turns off a lot of people. I'm gonna rant, guys.
You know, I think that's really great because we kind of got a bonus rant in this episode because Ben went on a huge one about art there for a while.
Yeah, so it's kind of like 2 for 1 on
We
this
didn't grade
episode.
that one, though.
We didn't grade it, no. Actually, it was pretty, I think
I'm not going to grade it. It's not part of our process.
it doesn't get one. Batteries. Dry cell, alkaline batteries. Why do they still exist in 2026?
Are you talking AA?
AA, AAA, D cell.
Do you want an answer?
You can answer that after.
I was going to say, is this a Q&A? I thought this was a rant.
Because I could give you a good answer.
We have rechargeable batteries now. We have, and battery technology makes lithium batteries all that much more affordable, to the point where nowadays you can buy AA or AAA or 9-volt battery sized to fit rechargeable batteries. And we've had this for a while, but why do we still go to the hardware store or a big box store and buy single-use AA or AAA batteries for our devices? And for all the manufacturers out there, why do they keep, are they in cahoots with the battery people? Like, why do they keep making things that require, and I think more of them are going to rechargeable batteries, but it just confounds me that we are still using single-use batteries in 2026.
I'll give that a B.
B minus.
Hank Green has a video on that exact question where he answers that question.
What's his answer?
It's because when you make when you change the composition, you change the voltage and the amperage. So they have to pack more into the battery to amp down or to change it to fit.
Yeah, the natural.
And then you have less space in the battery, so then it ends up being less useful. and more expensive because you had to put a bunch of tech into the battery. So
Yeah.
it's still
The net-
cheaper and more effective a lot of the times to use the old style batteries, which are a lot more efficient than when they first came out, to be fair. But yeah, they're just an easiest use option. If you want lithium, most things that use lithium have a dedicated battery as opposed to batteries that you pop in and out, and those are a completely different can of worms for things like flying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just am so annoyed that I still have to
is
dig in
annoying.
my drawer for a new set of
It is.
batteries for the remote, or
I just bought a bunch of rechargeable batteries for my office for my plants and stuff so that I don't have to deal with
When-
single-use batteries anymore.
one of my boys are really into Hot Wheels. Those Hot Wheels things need like 4 D cell batteries,
What?
and they would just like run it all day, and then I think we need some rechargeable ones because this is just ridiculous.
It's D cells cost a stupid amount of
It's funny because D cell batteries are no higher voltage. It's just milliamp hours. It's just
Right.
runtime. It's still 1.5 volts. The voltage difference you're talking about, lithium's like 3.1 volts.
Yeah.
The alkaline is 1.5, and most require 2, either to get the voltage up or just for runtime.
Batteries. This episode brought to you by Duracell.
Cue the bunny running across the screen with a little.
That's Energizer.
That's Energizer. What's Duracell?
Bing, bong, bong.
There you go.
It's just got the copper top. Copper top.
What happened to battery commercials?
I don't know. I don't watch TV anymore. I haven't seen a commercial in years.
There used to be so many. Like there's like just I feel like it was like Coke versus Pepsi, and then now you can buy just like Kirkland brand batteries, or
Yeah.
but again we still make them because we still need them. But that doesn't seem to be like I don't know. I want to know the economics of this.
They signed a truce. I think it was at Versailles.
They're all at Versailles.
Somewhere in Paris. Anyway, gentlemen, closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are for AI are to know it and to use it, but don't be duped by it. Like use it enough to kind of get a flavor for it and just to kind of recognize what it looks like when you generate an image or when it does some writing, so you kind of are able to recognize it in the wild. Otherwise, you're going to be a lot more gullible to its use. And secondly, just use your money to support humans, and like use your money to kind of direct your interests. I don't know how else to say it, but like art from humans is going to become a premium. I mean, it already kind of is a premium. It has been all throughout history, but it's going to be now set against all the stuff that AI can generate. And so you making the choice in how to support it with your time or your money is going to be all that more important for art from humans. So be cognizant of that.
Yeah, I think carrying from where you left off there, we're headed towards the age of monetization of AI. We're currently living in the still like the innovation stage where what can it do, what's the best it can do, but at some point it's going to shift to how can we make as much money from this as possible. We have people doing things like generated a whole bunch of AI music, uploading it to streaming platforms, and then using bots to listen to the AI music that they generated to create a revenue stream for themselves. Humans are going to find a way to abuse this for profit. And my hope, I guess, is that we proactively establish some guardrails as a society to decide what do we actually want this to do and what do we want to protect so that we still have nice things and it just doesn't turn into just a bunch of AI slop.
Yeah. I would say we didn't talk a whole lot about we talked about ethics of what this is doing to people. We didn't talk a whole lot about what it's doing environmentally or anything like that, which is a whole other can of worms. But let's be honest, a lot of us wouldn't like what AI is doing, even if it wasn't bad for the environment. So if you don't want to use AI, don't use it. I'm not going to, probably. I haven't. It's more of a headache than it's worth. We're still in the hey kids, first one's free era of AI, and when it starts costing money, then we'll see how many people actually still support it, and whether or not it is a bubble, like some people are saying. But I ranted a whole lot about the art side of things, and I want to leave you with this: that there's two ways you can fight back against AI art if this is your thing. Number one, make physical art. They haven't trained an AI to use a robotic arm yet to identify paint on a
Sounds like something
canvas.
smart. Stuff made here would
Stuff
try.
made here would try. I mean, you would have to retrain it in how it makes art. In that, right now it's just looking at a field of images. You would have to teach it composition before, so you would have to use a completely different model for canvases. So I think that's at least a year out. You got some time, people. And the other thing is make good art. That is the bench line that you're going to have to look at now. If people are rebelling against AI, they're going to look for human-made art, and they're going to look for art that is a masterclass. So my homework for all of you today is sit down with someone you love and draw something. Make some art today that is yours.
We should do some art time at home. That would be fun. You know, it'll be a sad chapter when someone sells AI art for like a premium.
It's already happening.
Is it already happening?
People are already selling AI art. Yeah.
Great.
And on that note, class dismissed.